This story begins 2 years ago, when I was finishing high school. It was a time full of stress, struggle, and long study nights. I was very focused on myself, although it was very hard for me, because I had a very big fight with the one who used to be my best friend. And I was applying for college, so there were some times that I couldn't focus myself on anything. Until I met Udo Folk, who was trying to convince me to have an adventure in a calm and peaceful space where I could focus as I wanted. So I accepted his offer in order to achieve my college test. Once I was in this space, he taught me certain techniques to help me relieve stress and manage myself in this hard challenge all along. So there I was, hearing and practicing all of his wisdom in my personal life, so I could get rid of all that bad vibes and energy that were surrounding me in high school. Every day when my classes finished, I looked after Udo Folk in order to have feedback on my development with the things that he was teaching me. Feeling glad of me, he motivated me to keep going that way and always told me that all of that will finish sooner than I could think. As days went by, I realized that I was going to face one of the toughest challenges of my life at that time. So tough that I studied as hard as I could for months before, without any hesitation. That's when Udo Folk wanted to talk with me about the future. He told me that I was ready to combine peace with strength and self-determination, without fear and with all the efforts that I could give. At first glance, I didn't feel ready to do it, and I spent many nights thinking about it. I didn't want to realize that I had few days to face what I was fighting so hard for. So I had to meditate about accepting what Udo Folk was telling me to do. Although there were a lot of thoughts crossing my mind, I told him to go ahead and prepare me for what was coming. The great day finally came. Udo Folk and I had a brief meeting early in the morning before heading to the college test. He told me that he couldn't be there physically because not everyone was capable of seeing him, but he was going to be there as a spiritual guide with me at the distance. So I arrived to that big classroom with the other people who were submitting the test. At the beginning, everything was going fine. I was calm and avoiding stress at all costs. I was doing my best. But then, I was doing the Spanish part. One part that annoyed me a lot before I was studying for it. Suddenly, I heard Udo Folk whispering at the distance, "Don't let it bring you down. Remember what you were taught." And instead of letting go, I felt motivated enough to solve it, using the techniques that he made me dominate. Thanks to his teachings, I received a notice some weeks before that I was accepted and I had a very good score on it. Udo Folk knew that I was strong and self-determined enough to face new challenges without him being around constantly, but he always felt concerned that something could get on my nerves and make me fail. So he had a very deep conversation with me while I was adapting to college. He said that he was glad of me and that he wasn't going to be around for some time, so he assigned his dog the mission to look after me and be there when I needed advice and make me see my mistakes. At first, I thought that it wasn't a good idea at all, but as time passed by, I discovered that the old talking dog of Udo Folk was as wise as him. At this point, everything was going better than I imagined. I adapted to this new academic life. I made new friends quickly and all the teachers realized that I was focused on my grades and being a really good student. But sometimes people of the past come back and do not always have good intentions. A girl from high school that I liked a lot and used to hang out with started talking to me again. And I didn't feel alright at all with it, but I wanted to give her a shot and try to ask her out. This situation was so complicated that the old wise dog didn't know what to do in order to give me an advice. So Udo Folk came to me to make me realize that she wasn't the one, and I would get hurt and some part of my progress would get lost if I did it. But I was very stubborn and didn't listen to both of them. So I gave her an opportunity. As they told me, I quickly realized that I made a very bad choice, and she would put me in a situation where I didn't feel comfortable. So after some hard events, I told her that it was over and that my goals in life were different from hers. Obviously, I was feeling down and weak at this point, but Uldufolk and the old wise dog wouldn't let this continue. So the old dog offered me the medal of his collar in order to work as a shield. Also, that medal had a strange ability to transfer the needed part of wisdom of his owner to the person who held it. Without hesitation, I took it and kept it with me all the time. After endless nights of meditation, I decided to break and burn the medal of the old wise dog and the connection that I had with Uldufolk, because I discovered something very dark and messed up was happening with those two. A confrontation in the safe space of Uldufolk was imminent and I had to prepare myself for it. When the confrontation day finally came, a lot of thoughts crossed my mind. The main goal that I was fighting so hard for was wrong all the time, and I was being manipulated. After a long and deep research about how the medal of the old dog worked and why this item was so important for Uldufolk, I felt an anger and hatred that I never felt in my life before. The main function of that medal was to absorb the wisdom and energy of the person that held and used it to be stronger and extend the life of those who created it. And the ones that created it were no other ones but the old dog and Uldufolk. So I made a plan, in order to be free of them for once. When I arrived at the meeting, something felt really weird, like they were nervous or anxious about something. I managed to design a plan to break the spell, without them noticing anything. So I let them talk and talk for hours about the importance of the medal. When they finished, I showed the medal to them, broken and burnt. They were astonished and speechless. Suddenly, the ambience felt cold and heavy. They couldn't believe what was happening. Also, I sensed that they didn't have a clue of my next move. I showed them a ripped page of a mythology book with a drawing and the names of both and a lighter. They tried to take it from me because they knew what was coming after that. But the medal wasn't functional, so they were weak because their power was slowly fading away. That's when I used their teachings to avoid letting them manipulate my thoughts and cut that page in pieces with the damaged medal just to erase them from any possible space what I mentioned that they could use as an escape route. Finally, I felt free, without a heavy load on my mind. They were gone for good, and I thought to myself, they'll no longer be able to take advantage of anyone going through a rough situation anymore. When I came back from the confrontation, I meditated a little bit about the future because their teachings were good and useful for some things, although they were extremist at the same time. I knew that I didn't waste my time while they were manipulating me. So I continued life with a different vision on how to manage myself on any kind of situation without letting anyone mess around with me or trying to manipulate me. I knew what decisions to make, how to adapt myself to the way of how things came to me, only taking what was right about their teachings, but being as I am at the same time. Thanks to this, I always seek to advise others when they face some similar situations as the one that I had to deal with, but not manipulating them for my own benefit, only as a guy who can give a different opinion in order to make the right choice.